All right, Shalom. Giving all honor, all praise, and all glory to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushai, Bashim, Rachak, Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations unto the hopeful elect tabernacle of David scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. Now, this lesson is inspired by the elder Yashawamba. He had put up a lesson, News and Prophecy, the 48ers. You know, we got to, title our videos and speak in code when dealing with these people. Christians are silent on them, but loud about us. And, it's a pretty edifying lesson. He brings out all the facts. He got the videos lined up. So, you can't really refute, the information. But it's very eye-opening, when you look into it. Why are we such a threat? When you have this whole set of people, this whole people group that's just wreaking havoc in the earth. And they're using ideologies to justify their violent streak. And certain people that have been attacking us for so long, they're not very vocal about it. The focus is mainly on us. But behind the scenes, they okay with what's going on. And it's very eye-opening. Now, the video that I uploaded or re-uploaded, it kind of, mainly points to that main character, all right, because he's been one of the front and center adversaries of what they call Hebrew Israelism. He feels like he has the devotion, the intelligence, the wisdom. He feels like he has it all. He has what it takes to take down the Hebrew Israelites and to, basically eradicate our faith. And this is why he's been on a nonstop tirade, coming against the Hebrew Israelites and our theology. But every time we question him about his views on the current state of Israel and do he support the agenda that's going on, he refused to talk about it. But we've seen him in the past, especially when you had that situation, with the hostages going back in, was that October 7th? When they used that as the catalyst to go ahead and basically start a war and to basically annihilate and commit ethnic cleansing on those Palestinians. And this guy in particular, all right, Haman, he pretty much in a live showed support. He didn't see nothing wrong with what they were doing. He claimed that, it was basically vengeance. All right, and I would have to go back and find that video because, several brothers did responses to it, but it's definitely on the internet. So when you just tie it all together and you understand their crafty nature, I can understand that they would have likely sent this guy on a mission to disguise himself as this, Calvinist Christian, which when you look into Calvinism, their whole focus is dealing with the aspects of salvation in the church. Things like unconditional election. All right, the fact that the elect were predestined. They teach predestination, which that is scriptural, But they also believe that the Lord only died for the elect. And that's not true. The Lord died for the nation of Israel, but it's the elect that's going to be delivered. And they believe, other things. But that focus is separate from what these Christian Zionists believe. They actually believe that what's going on currently with the state of Israel is a fulfillment of biblical prophecy. So they're going to support what you see them over there doing. All right. What you see Donald Trump is being used for, the fact that they're getting ready to go to Iran soon, is basically over these people. You remember during his first term, when he proposed that Golan Heights, would be a part of Israel, and that Jerusalem would be the capital. They started hailing this guy as if, he's Cyrus the Great. And now, during his second term, what are they doing? They're continuing the agenda to, commit ethnic genocide and to split the Gaza Strip, and amongst other things. And Vocab Haman, he doesn't have a word to say. So it all makes sense now that they have to be, especially guys like him, he has to be silent about them and loud about us. That's all part of the deflection. Okay? So it all makes sense. It all makes sense, man. Okay, now let me get this scripture. Because the scriptures say, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we're not ignorant of his devices. We know that the going back to the garden, the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. So, they have a skill set in being deceitful. They can disguise themselves. Let me get that in. Let me get Genesis 3. Let me get that first. Let me get it in the AMP. And it says, now the serpent was more crafty, subtle, skilled in deceit than any living creature of the field which the Lord God had made. And the serpent, Shaitan, said to the woman, can it really be that God has said, you shall not eat from any tree of the garden? And, he had that skill to seduce and beguile. I'm pretty sure he spoke very well, was very articulate, very convincing. But he had Satan on him. This devil Haman, all right, he has similar ability, his ability to, convince people because, he can speak well. He went to the theological seminary. All right, there's no telling what other counsel he may have taken, when he was groomed up. But people gravitate to this devil for whatever reason. You even got Jake that runs to him. And it's almost like he represents a version of the wicked one, the devil, that the Lord spoke of in his parable of the sower and the seed. Those that fell by the wayside, when they hear the word of the kingdom of the Most High and they don't understand it, then cometh the devil to take away which is sown in their heart. And that devil can come, in a certain presentation. He can come gentle, charming, have certain level of intellect, wise according to this world. All right. And you're gonna have, false prophets and false teachers that's gonna come in sheep's clothing. Let's get Matthew 7 and was it 15? Yes, Matthew 7 and 15 in the AMP. It says, "Beware of false prophets, teachers who come to you dressed as sheep, appearing gentle and innocent." Now you look at him, he got his little Kango, his ability to relate. All right. He uses a form of entertainment like, rap music, hip hop. And that's just a means to lure you jakes. I did a lesson a while back on how these Christian apologists in that form of theology, they're more of a erudite theology, but to appeal and to attract people of other demographics, especially so-called minorities, they have to use entertainment as a gimmick to attract you. And have you ever heard him rap, try to freestyle to do this trash, and he sounds very corny. But some people they gravitate to that, so they look at him as, oh, this guy, he's a people person, he's innocent, he tries to be charismatic, so he appears like he's a gentle, innocent being. But you don't understand that this dude is on an objective, and it's a left-hand objective. So the serpent, he can disguise himself any way he wants. And that's to, open up trust. That's what a snake does. All right. And then once they get you close enough, then they stick their fang in you. That's why the scriptures say, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. All right. You get them close to you, you're going to be pricked. You'll be pricked therewith. Go back and read Sirach, the 12th chapter, man. It says, "Who come to you dressed as sheep, appearing gentle and innocent, but inwardly are ravening wolves." He's really there to dismantle and to destroy. Especially if he's going to try to put you back to sleep into the plantation Christian theology, where you can openly celebrate pagan festivities, believe in the pagan Trinitarian doctrine, teach hell, which is a Catholic ideology based on mythology. You can do all these things, in Christianity, which is what was part of what kept our people asleep. So it makes sense, man. This guy right here, he's a dissembler. He's disguising himself. This image right here, this is more fitting. That's home. This is his people. This is why he has to be silent on this whole issue. And though he might not openly teach Christian Zionism, but in secret, he definitely support their ideology, for sure. Or else he would be just as vocal against them as he is against us. So he will come to you as this Christian apologist, this Calvinist. And Calvinism don't really focus on the same aspects as these Christian Zionists. They're completely different. But inwardly, they're integrated. Okay? So let me do this now. Yeah, I just went and I just typed this in. This is Chat GPT. It says, would a Calvinist support the Christian Zionist ideology? Right? You see if their ideologies, if there's any similarities, if there are any parallels, if there's any overlaps. And it says a Calvinist would potentially support, it's like you could potentially support Christian Zionism, but it is not a given that all Calvinists would. And I believe he's one of the ones who do. Right? It says Calvinism as a theological system does not inherently mandate support for or against Christian Zionism. Yeah, and they can't, he can't openly do that. Or other Calvinists would, if they're, pure Calvinists, they probably call him out on it. Right? Even though one of the things that I do find puzzling is he also teaches supersessionism, aka replacement theology. And that kind of goes against, well, not kind of, it does go against the actual belief system that the current state of Israel is the true people. You're basically saying that no, it's the church that are actually the chosen people. The Lord have basically integrated them into the true Israel. And now the church is now the fulfillment of ancient Israel. But I don't see him openly teaching this to his family over here. I wonder, when he sat down with these people, did he go over that? Did he impose that teaching to these people? Because he don't mind, teaching that in regards to, us, because a lot of people, they'll say, especially from the Christian perspective, oh, these guys, they're making it racial. That salvation is based on their race, their racial, ethnic background, their genealogy. But what about these people? They do it. It's all right when they do it, but it's a hell of a problem when we say that salvation is only for the children of Israel. That those who's going to rule in the kingdom of heaven are going to be Israelites. But look what they're doing over there right now in Gaza, in Palestine. They're physically removing those people so that they can extend their land. So going back, it says, but it is not given that all Calvinists would. Calvinism as a theological system does not inherently mandate support for or against Christian Zionism. Well, you gotta, because the Lord said, whoso stand up for me against the evildoers, or who will rise up for me against the workers of iniquity. All right, you when it comes to the Most High, there's no fence straddling, and the Most High is very clear in his doctrine. It says Calvinism focuses primarily on doctrines related to salvation, the Most High's sovereignty, and the nature of the church, while Christian Zionism centers on political support for the state of Israel and interpretations of biblical prophecy regarding the end times. Some Calvinists, especially those within certain evangelical or reformed circles, may hold to Christian Zionist views. And I believe John Mark Reiser, which is his actual name, I believe he's a part of that circle. Okay, he just can't be too obvious and open. He has to be more covert about it, which is basically being silent. He already shared his opinion about the situation, when that whole October 7th thing happened, and then we never heard about it again. He may have spoken on it maybe another time in another live after, but he don't speak on it as much. And then we question him about how, because years ago he was teaching that that the Edomites were done away with. Obadiah 1:18 was already fulfilled. All right. Then he started out of nowhere saying that they basically dissolved and basically became amalgamated among the Arab population. So he shifted them from being non-existent to being the Arabs. And it just so happened now Netanyahu, he's using prophecies like Amalek. Now we will, the Lord will erase the memory of Amalek from the earth, and applying them to the so-called Arabs that are in the land of Palestine now, saying that us getting rid of them the way we're doing it, that's the fulfillment of basically the Lord getting rid of Amalek. So just, keeping a spiritual eye and putting everything together, it all makes sense. So who are the Edomites today? Who are the Amalekites? Are they who Netanyahu is saying they are according to prophecy? And what you've been on record to declare, though you won't really come out in an open and speak on it? So if you support Netanyahu's administration and what they're doing, this whole agenda, and even Trump supporting them, then you are supporting Christian Zionism. Okay. It says may hold to Christian Zionist views if they believe Israel plays a significant role in biblical prophecy, but this is not a universal stance among all Calvinists. So basically, maybe there's division among you. This is why he can't be too overt about it, because it might be a divide amongst them. It says there are also Calvinists who may not adhere to Christian Zionism, viewing it as a theological or political movement separate from the core tenets of Calvinism. In short, a Calvinist might support Christian Zionism, but it would depend on their personal theological and political views, as the two are not inherently linked. All right. And I believe that's it's purposeful that, he's an advocate, right, for this this tenet or this theology of Calvinism, even though his actions shows that he's in support of the other. All right, now you see this, you see how silent he is about what they're doing. He's not coming out and denouncing anything. And then when you look into his surname, all right, his surname, because his name is John Mark Reiser. All right, if I'm saying it right, Reiser or Reiser. Yes, the surname Reiser or Reiser has origins in both German and Jewish Ashkenazic cultures, deriving from the German words Rees, journey, or rise, rice, twig, and is considered a Jewish surname. So he that have eyes to see, and he that have ears to hear. So this guy, he's been on a mission, man. This guy really is a dissembler. But he can come to you as a sheep, coming soft and gentle, like he's this, caring a Christian who's transformed himself into a minister of righteousness, and that's how Satan can come to you. So let me get that in was that 2 Corinthians 11? Second Corinthians 11. Yep. 2 Corinthians 11, and I'll start at 13. This is in the NLT. It says, these people are false apostles. They're deceitful workers who disguise themselves as apostles of the anointed, which the word apostle means to be sent. And I'm pretty sure he believes he's been sent, trying to be on his mission to teach salvation to all people, all nations, opening up the covenant of the Lord that he made between him and his people, opening it up to everybody else, and attacking the awakening. Those who are actually waking up to the truth and separating themselves from this wicked world, he's in opposition to. He's hard bent on the demonization of this one group, and then he's also had ample time to try to connect us, with atrocious crimes, that was done by individuals who acted alone, and blaming their ideology on the influence of why they done what they done, trying to paint a certain picture, and doing the same thing with Islam. And we know that the Muslims, they're a main adversary to Zionists. So you see how it's all tying in. He's been trying to make that link between us and Islam, attacking us, pretty much. He attacks us a bit more than the Muslims, but just look at his actions. Videos where he's made mockery, where he's trying to imitate an Israelite, and then he's also done the same with Muslims. He's not doing that towards atheists. He's not doing that towards the Satanists. So it's very specific what this guy's doing, but he's disguising himself because that's the way that he can deceive. This is how he can beguile you, just like the serpent, coming to you as this all loving Christian guy, who happened to rap, who has a devotion to his so-called faith. Verse 14, it says, but I am not surprised. Even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light. Yeah, Satan he has that ability. And the serpent, Satan was who gave the serpent that ability. Okay. Hey, these devils, that's Satan's children. They're the physical counterpart to Satan. So they definitely have a special skill set to deceive people. It says, so it is no wonder that his servants also disguise themselves as servants of righteousness. The vocabs. All right. Oh, you got a new sheriff in town. This guy Dave. He's another devil, man. Now I don't know if he believes the same thing that vocab believes completely, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's another one of them. All right, Dave, what's your assessment on Christian Zionism, and do you support what the current administration is doing? Do you support Satan Yahoo and what they're doing over there with Palestine? Do you believe that those are the chosen people? Are they the fulfillment of the restoration of true Israel in the Holy Land? Do you believe this? I would like for you to answer that, because I know you watching all of our videos. You're the devil too. It says, in the end, they will get the punishment their wicked deeds deserve. All right? And you're not fooling anybody, man. We have the eyesore. We can see. And we're in a time of the man of sin being revealed. So you're going to go down. And your objective is going to fail. You're not going to win. You can't do nothing against the truth before the truth. And in the words of Gamaliel, all right, let these men alone, for if this counsel be of men, it'll come to naught. But if it be the Most High, you cannot overthrow it, lest haply you be found even to fight against the Most High. So now you see why this guy is in complete opposition to us. And though if you're a so-called Christian and you standing on the tenets of the Bible, you're supposed to rebuke, reprove. All right, you're not supposed to show any favoritism, respect of persons when it comes to judgment. But they're very one-sided when it comes to that. Very open and loud against us and what we teach, but pretty silent when it comes to what these devils are doing. In the iniquity, it's an influx of iniquity over there. The wicked agendas that they're pushing in the earth. Won't call out the globalist elite. Call them by name. Let me see you do that in a live. Tell us what their judgment is going to be. When they found those underground tunnels in New York, what did he say? What was his, where was his rebuke? Or any of these Christians for that matter. So y'all been found out, all right? And this lesson right here, it kind of just inspired me to go into it. And also the Spirit was on me to, go into how a lot of them over there, how they treat, what they think about Christianity. They spitting on Christians. They ridicule you. They say that your Messiah, it was a sorcerer. His mother was a whore. No, and I doubt that he went into that when he sat down with them, because he's at home. He ain't gonna open up that Talmud and scrutinize it, not on his platform. So yeah, it all makes sense, man. And those of you that choose to ignore, hey, continue to be deceived. All right, and the scriptures say, who shall pity a charmer that's bitten with a serpent? And I'm talking about you jakes, you blinded pet Christian Negroes that align yourself with the likes of this character. So anyway, that's pretty much the basis of this lesson, and hopefully y'all edified and give all honor, all praise, and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Into the next one, Shalom.